What's going on, guys? Team Fusion here again with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing my favorite hero deck, Destiny Heroes. Now, I don't play Destiny Heroes normally. I play them a little weird. Usually you play Destiny Heroes for the fusion monsters and the extra deck, trying to drop some of their beefier fusions. My deck is more centered around Plasma. Being Aster's deck in the anime, usually his main ace monster was Plasma, but no need to talk about it, let's just hop right in. To start off with, we have 2 copies of Plasma. To give a little bit of justice to Dogma so that we can run both of them in there, I only run 2. I got 2 different rarities of it. I like this one more. The alternative art actually looks really good. What it does is you tribute 3 monsters off of your field to special summon it, one of which has to be a Destiny hero. Then all monsters that are face up on your opponent's field have their effects negated, like they can activate them. And you can target one monster your opponent controls and equip it to this card, and it gains half the attack of that monster. Then we have 2 copies of Dogma. Dogma is the other 3 tribute monster in the deck. Dogma, on your opponent's next standby phase, just halves their life points, and he's overall a 3400 beat stick. I run him because you need him to summon fusions like... You need both Plasma and Dogma to summon Destiny and Dragon, which I wanted to put in there, because when I first started playing the deck, it was probably one of my favorite cards. Next, we have 3 copies of D Cubed. D Cubed is a very underrated Destiny Hero card. Basically what it does is when it's normal summoned while it's on the field, it counts as a Destiny Hero monster. Then you can drop it up to 2 cards from your hand, if it's on the field, to summon 1 or more copies from the deck or hand, which can make it really easy to tribute off into Dogma Plasma. And if they're destroyed, you can send a Destiny hero to the graveyard, which is good for Malicious, Denier, and a bunch of other Destiny heroes. Speaking of, we have 3 copies of Malicious. Now, I know the ban list says you can only run 2, but when I play my decks, we play them, we don't play them competitively, we play them more, we don't use the ban list, so I got the okay to run 3 copies of Malicious. It helps me summon Plasma, and overall is a good link material for the extra hero link monsters. Now, one of the newest cards to come out for Destiny Heroes, and one of my personal favorites, we have 3 copies of Destiny Hero Denier. Denier, when summoned, can put a Destiny hero at the top of your deck, which isn't that good, but its second effect says if it's in your hand or in your graveyard, while you control a Destiny hero monster, you can special summon it. It's a hard once per turn, so it's not as useful, but it can help you when it comes to link summons. Now, to get into more older Destiny heroes, we got 3 copies of Drilldark. When it's summoned, you can summon a Destiny hero with 1500 or 1600 or less attack points from your hand, which a lot of them don't. A lot of them have that. Malicious has 800. Denier has 11. Most level 4 or lowers have it. For example, Celestial has 16, and Drawhand has 16. And it does piercing, but we don't use it for the piercing effect, we use it for the summon effect. Ooh, sorry. Don't mess up there. And then we have 2 copies of Destiny Hero Dreamer. Dreamer is an okay Destiny hero, I would say. If it's in the graveyard and a Destiny hero monster battles, you can special summon it and prevent this card and that card from being destroyed during that battle, and you take no battle damage. But if it's sent to the graveyard afterwards, it's banished. I run it for the fodder. Also, it's helped me multiple times in duels that I have had. I run 2 copies of Destiny Hero Dynatag. Dynatag, while it's in your hand, if a Destiny hero battles, you can send it from your hand to the graveyard to negate the battle and deal 1000 damage to both players, which can be helpful because Plasma doesn't have a lot of attack. He has only 1900 and gains barely any. So it can be useful in that case. Also, you have Destiny Hero Dystopia as well, who has an effect that lets him destroy cards when he gains attack or when his attack changes. A new card in this deck that I recently put in here after the Speed Duel set came out was Destiny Hero Dasher. Dasher, once per turn, you contribute one other monster, and this card gains 1,000 attack till the end of the turn. If it attacks, change to defense mode. And while it's in your graveyard, if you draw a monster during your draw phase, you can reveal it and special summon it. It's pretty decent. It can help you if you need monsters to summon your Plasma or Dogma. Now for more fun cards, I run Dark Angel. Dark Angel, while in the field, says you cannot play spells. It negates all spell effects. And if it's in your hand, you have 3 or more Destiny Heroes in your graveyard, you can discard it to summon a Destiny Hero or monster from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field. Dark Angel is really good to give to your opponent, which you can do with that effect. Also, while it's in the graveyard, you can banish in another Destiny Hero to put a normal spell to the top of both players' deck. 1 copy of Celestial. I would be running more, but very expensive card. Basically what it does is if it attacks, you can destroy a spell in the field and burn your opponent for 500 points of damage. And while it's in the graveyard, if you have no cards in your hand, you can banish it. You can banish it in a Destiny Hero monster to draw 2 cards. And you can only use each effect once per turn, and you can only use that draw effect the turn after it was sent to the graveyard. Now for drawing, which is not really an issue, we run Draw Hand. Draw Hand, basically, if it's special summoned by the effect of a hero monster, then both players draw 1 card. And during the next standby phase, if he's in the graveyard, I can special summon him. And then, due to his effect, we would both draw 1 card. That's it for monsters. Now we move on to spell cards. I run 3 copies of Dark City to keep it a little bit fun. Dark City is basically the skyscraper of Destiny Heroes. If a Destiny Hero attacks a monster with lower attack, it gains 1,000. Which is it's no biggie, I'd say. Probably one of the better cards in our spell and trap lineup. We have 3 copies of Destiny Draw, which says you can discard a Destiny Hero to draw 2 cards. It is not once per turn, which makes it really good. So if you pull multiple, you can just keep dropping. We run 2 copies of Fusion Destiny. As I said, this deck is not meant to be meant to go into fusion monsters. It's meant more to be around the Plasma, but you cannot play a Destiny Hero deck without a certain few fusion monsters. For example, Dominance and Dangerous. Some of my favorites. It basically lets you fuse a Destiny Hero from the extra deck using monsters from your hand, field, or deck to summon it. Next up, we have 1 copy of Over Destiny. It's a pretty meh card, but it helps sometimes whenever I need a monster to tribute summon. Basically, you can target a monster in your Destiny Hero in your graveyard and summon a monster from your deck with a level half of or less of the monster that you chose. Which is why we run some of the level 1s so that you can summon them from the deck if you pull like a level 4. On to traps, we have 2 copies of D-Tactics, one of the newer support cards. What it does is during each standby phase, it gives all hero monsters to 400 attack points. And if it leaves the field, you get to add one level 8 or higher Destiny Hero monster or Destiny and Dragoon. Oh, you get special summon it. Sorry, I can't. And if it's destroyed, you can add a Destiny Hero card from your deck to your hand. But if a level 8 Destiny Hero or Destiny and Dragoon is summoned to your field, you can banish 1 card in your opponent's hand or field. Which is mostly what I use it for, since I drop a lot of level 8 fusions and, Plasma and Dogma being level 8 monsters themselves. I run 2 copies of D-Fusion, as I said, not really oriented on the fusion part, but it's good to have some of the fusion cards in there. D-Fusion is just a polymerization for Destiny Heroes, except you have to set it first. The only upside to running D-Fusion is the turn that you summon your fusion monster, it's protected. Next up, we have 2 copies of D-Counter. D-Counter just says if you attack a Destiny Hero, then you get to destroy the monster that attacked it. It's not once per turn either. We have 1 copy of D-Fortune, which says if you attack me directly, I can banish a Destiny Hero to end the battle phase. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. And then one of the other newer support cards that I find fun, we run 1 copy of Break the Destiny, which says you can tribute off a level 8 Destiny Hero or a Destiny and Dragoon to skip your opponent's first main phase. Which is kind of good. It forces them into battle, so if they do have a good lineup, kind of useless, but if they don't have anything good like first turn, you force them into their main phase too without being able to attack. That's all for the main deck. We will move on to the extra deck. To the extra deck, we run 2 copies of Dominance. Dominance requires 3 Destiny Hero monsters. Once per turn, you can look at the top 5 of your deck or your opponent's deck and rearrange them in any order of your choosing. Plus, if he would be destroyed, you get to summon back 3 different named Destiny Hero monsters from your graveyard. And if he destroys a monster by battle, you get to draw a card. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. We run 3 copies of one of my more favorite Destiny Heroes, Destiny Hero Dangerous. It requires a Destiny Hero monster and a Dark monster. If you ever needed Destiny Heroes in your graveyard, this is the perfect way to supply them. Basically, what he does is you can discard a card from your hand and send a Destiny Hero monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then, for every different named Destiny Hero monster in the graveyard, you get to give 200 attack to every Destiny Hero on your field currently. And it's a quick effect too, so if you ever need it in a pinch, you can definitely use it. We have 3 copies of Dystopia. Dystopia just requires 2 Destiny Hero monsters. If it was special summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard and burn your opponent for its attack points. And if its attack changes, you can pop a card in the field. It has to be a monster, and if it's this card's attack becomes its attack. We have 2 copies of Destiny Hero Dusktopia, which requires a Destiny Hero and a Destiny Hero fusion monster. Basically, all it does is it has a quick effect to give protection to one monster, and on its summon, you can fusion summon again. For our last fusion monster, we run 1 copy of Destiny in Dragoon. Destiny in Dragoon requires Dogma and Plasma, and once per turn, you can pop a card on the field, but you cannot attack, and your opponent takes damage equal to that attack. And if it's in the graveyard during your standby phase, you can banish a Destiny Hero to bring it back. It's 3,000 beat stick, it's pretty good. For Link monsters, we run 1 copy of Cross Crusader, because I haven't been able to get my hands on more. If I had more, I would use more. Cross Crusader is the extra hero for Destiny Heroes. It requires 2 warrior monsters, and if it's Link summoned, you can target 1 Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And you can tribute off a Destiny Hero to the zone that a Link points to, the Link zones point to add a Destiny Hero from your deck to your hand. Then we have Wonder Drivers. In case our Plasma strategy fails, we resort to Fusion. Extra Hero Wonder Driver just says if a hero monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, then you can take a normal fusion spell from your graveyard and set it face down. It only requires 2 hero monsters, which is not too bad. Compared to cards like Dread Decimator, it's probably one of the best extra heroes in my opinion. And that is all for Destiny Heroes. Make sure to drop a like and even share it to your friends. This is Team Fusion signing off.